I was objecting. I mean, all of that I objected to anyway. But the way they were portraying King Kalakaua, first of all, they don't indicate that he died in San Francisco. They have a scene that originally had him in a wheelchair, signing the Bayonet Constitution. I said, you know, and decrepit. I said, he wasn't that way. Just think about it. If he sailed all the way to San Francisco, he didn't have to be. He wasn't that bad. He was strong enough to endure this overseas trip, and he went partying when he was there. It was the chill of the air, they say, but other Hawaiians say he was poisoned. And so I agree more to the poisoning because I know what he was about. He was a Freemason. He was gaining power. He already had 33rd degree status. He was going to be enshrined. He was going to have this power in the international sector that, and people who know the Freemasonry know that many world leaders, heads of state, are or were or are in, you know, the Freemason camp. And so he was going to fight these people who were taking or attempting to take the kingdom away with that political force. And you know, the truth of the matter, when he dies, the statement that is, you know, I guess reverberating amongst Hawaiians who read it or hear it, and he says, "Tell my people I tried." And it's very emotional for us Hawaiians who know the history. He tried to save our Hawaiian people, and he did. It was predicted that by 1897 we would be all gone at the rate of death and the low level of births, and so everything we enjoy, from the palace to Kamehameha statue back here and the coronation, the world tour, the jubilee, all of the highs of and the resurgence of hula is all due to King Kalakaua, and we have to give credit to Premier Walter Murray Gibson, who was just true royalist, but one po'e haole who loved the Hawaiian people, and it's just marvelous. And in the play, in the movie, they have Walter Murray Gibson around the time of the electric lights that were lit by, or Hawaiian Electric had then installed lights in downtown Honolulu, and Princess Ka'ilani is supposed to throw the switch, which she did in real life. That was in 1888, and Walter Murray Gibson had been driven out to the mainland, San Francisco, and in fact had died in 1888. So I said, how can he be in this scene if he's dead? I was willing to work with him and said, well, maybe we can invoke his ghost, that's his spirit, because we Hawaiians do that. And maybe Kalakaua had this reverie, this flashback of, you know, meeting and talking with his premier. They were so close, but I said, you know, I wanted to work with the drama of it all, but he just didn't want that. And I said, where is Robert Kalani Wilcox in all of this? He was the hero of the Hawaiian people. He goes, well, it's just going to distract from Ka'iulani and the storyline. I said, he is part of the main storyline of our fight to exist. I said, how can you not have him? He was our first delegate to Congress. How can you not have him? It doesn't make sense. So that's the kind of battle I was doing, verbalizing, and it was such a waste of time. You know, I finally just said, you know, you have my preliminary proposals, but I'm going to tell you, your film is not porno. It's not accurate. It's not porno, and I just, if you want to talk some more, let's talk. But I just don't want to talk about, you know, your desire to keep this going. We know that this woman falling off the balcony. There's an insurance company. They underwrite Hollywood films and actors. So we have an email that was generated from one of the agents who is Hawaiian, and she says that her broker, told her that this film was having trouble right from the beginning, more than the normal. And if that doesn't tell you something, you know, and not finally, but losing this line producer off the balcony, they just won't accept it, you know, that this is not porno. So we have all of this to back us, and this is why I decided to step forward. I was so tired of just holding this to my chest and just talking to people that I reached out to Henry Noah. I had been telling him all along. He said, but Henry, when I share this with you, it's not political. We're talking about a movie, but he was very patient. He said, okay, brother, when you're ready. And then I talked with Colleen Ayu, who's Maiki Ayu's daughter. and she is the president of Ahahui Ka'iulani. So she has a vested interest in assuring her Ahahui that the best, like Ka'iulani, our Princess Ka'iulani is shown in the best light. And really, that's all we're saying is show our people in the best light, our ali'i especially, show them the respect. The fourth partner in this ad hoc group of ours is the Kuhina Nui of the Daughters and Sons of Hawaiian Warriors, Reina Adams, who I've known for a long time. I was mentored by her predecessor, her auntie grandma, Healani Doan. We were good friends, we did many things together, and then Maiki Ayu was another mentor who early in my career listened to my thoughts. And so Colleen knew that. Following her mother's death, she called me to tell me she had found notes that her mother left, and in a sense just saying that this halau needed to support anything that I was doing. And I was so appreciative of that. But our associations go back many, many years. And when I called them and they said, you know, in the name of my auntie grandma here, Lanito, Irena Adams stood up. She goes, she'd want me to, she knew what you were doing, and she wouldn't question it. Colleen said the same thing. She goes, you know, my mom trusted what you were saying. And our motivation is just our aloha for our ancestors, our kupuna, that's all it is. And you know, our kupuna live in us. That's why I wrote the song, Voices on the Wind. Everything I've done is, and you have done, has been driven by the spirit of our kupuna. And you know, only those who are not Hawaiian who truly come to, with respect, to understand what we do, know what we're talking about. Eme Tumimdong, I just had a conversation with her out in the parking lot. And she was struck by the story I was just relating here about the line producer. And she said even in her dealings with when Jim Bartels was still alive and the curator of the palace, she had her experiences where cameras didn't work in the palace. And her cameraman was a good cameraman. And his camera took her back to the studio and worked in the studio. They even heard weeping upstairs. And they, at that time, had not known that our queen had been imprisoned upstairs. So she has the utmost respect. And she says, I know, she says, anytime I do something that's around a historic site or event, particular site, she asks, you know, the spirits that are there that you may, if you don't like what I'm about to say or do, just don't let my camera work. You know. I mean, and that's the kind of sensitivity we ask people who are not Hawaiian to, you know, show, you know, our kupuna and through them to us. You know, that's just all we ask. You know, what's so hard about that? And but you know, we don't have enough people in the world who think this way. It's just sad. But we need not, you know, sit back. I was thinking, I said, if I say nothing, then I'm giving silent affirmation. You know, some people would tell me, just let them do it, let them make a mess of things. And I said, how can I do that? I know it's wrong. You know, why should I just let them do what they want? They need to be questioned by other people. And so this is the result, you know. I can tell your audience that Princess Kikaulike Kavananako is stepping into the fray, and she's doing it on her own. I've been in email contact with her liaisons, and she's working through her attorneys, and she did not know about what was happening. She found out through the advertiser article when I called the press. Prior to calling, I called the press conference, and then the reporter called me to ask me for an interview. And so I think the story was, you know, I tell people I had gone to the mausoleum and had stood before the crypt of the Kalakawas, and I said, I know what's happening here, and you know it, and if you want me to fight for you, please just open the way and help me make things right as fast as I can, or you can, with your opening the way. And this is the result.